Hello there and welcome to episode 6 of my playthrough of the 2018 Harebrained Schemes BattleTech game. Today I'm going to be tackling Priority Mission 3 on Panzyr. So let's go ahead and launch contract. So we're in orbit of Panzyr here. A little bit of a mission briefing coming up. So this is Alexander. Welcome to Panzyr. Commander Lady Orano and the Restoration Army are already fighting on the planet's surface and have been for weeks. With the aid of House Decimus's ground support facilities, Miss Mai will carry your lance through Panzyr's orbital debris field and drop you to the surface. Let's keep going. What happens after we are on the surface? Lady Orano wants your lance behind enemy lines. While she leads from the front, you will harass the Directorate's supply chain and target valuable military hardware. She already has a target list drawn up for you. Hold that thought, Lord Madeira. Commander, I'm getting a tight beam communication from the planet's surface. It's Lady Orano, and it looks urgent. Oculus, you couldn't have arrived at a better time. Our forces on the surface desperately need your help. With the support of House Decimus, we're making our final push against the Directorate's last major stronghold. Our forces are fully committed to the attack, and we are pushing them back, but the Directorate just seized control of Panzyr's only remaining spaceport. With it, they'll be able to call down reinforcements at will. I need someone to take the spaceport's control centre away from them. Oculus, that someone is going to have to be you. This means that Miss Maya will need to carry you through the debris field unassisted. I hope that her skills are up to the task. Well, this stage just got more interesting. I'm afraid there's more. Alexander, I've just received a message from Lady Centrella. She is the representative from the Magistracy of Canopus, who are kind of our cloak and dagger allies. They're the ones like Bankro and Lady Kamea here. There's been a major incident on Perdition. It looks like a terrorist action, a chemical attack against the port city of Harlow's Landing. Initial casualty reports suggest some 11,000 dead. It's only a matter of time before they try to pin the blame on my people in the Federated Suns. They already have. Protector Calderon is claiming that the attack was an act of Davian aggression in direct violation of the Aries Conventions. He's already calling it the Perdition Massacre. For their part, the Davians have denied all knowledge of the attack. I'm going to have to explain this just a tiny bit. So the Fed Suns and the Taurians are traditional enemies of each other. They share a border, and the Taurians are a powerful periphery power. The Fed Suns are like one of the real poster children, poster boys, whatever, for the Star League. The Taurians really didn't like the Star League. They just want their own independence. They are like Space Texas. So this is kind of a going to ignite like a major interstellar war if we're not careful here, and nobody wants that. It does mention the Aries Convention there. The Aries Convention is one of the centrifugal points in BattleTech. It basically limits all use of nuclear weapons and biological weapons against civilian populaces. We can hover over it actually, just have a quick look. So a treaty signed during the Age of War with the aim of limiting civilian casualties by establishing a universal code of military conduct. The Aries Convention specifically prohibits the use of nuclear, chemical and biological weapons, as well as limit the scope of orbital bombardments and conventional military operations. And that's what really gives power and solidity to the concept of the mech and the mech warrior, because warfare then becomes more localised, just in case you were wondering. So, their denials will fall on deaf ears. Calderon won't believe anything that Hans Davian, he's the leader of the Fed Suns, has to say. This is going to accelerate our timetable. We need to retake your throne. We need to retake your throne before the situation gets any worse. If a war was going to erupt between the Federation and the Concordat, it would easily spill into the Reach, and we can't afford that kind of chaos. Right, fine by me. The faster we go, the sooner I get to avenge Mastiff's death. That's the spirit, Oculus. I'll brief you more fully when you reach the planet's surface. You should expect this to be a rough drop. Bring your best, and may the gods grant you victory. We will all be counting on your success. You heard the Lady Lemuel. Best get to it. Maya, I'm going to go ahead and trust that you've got this. Do me a solid and try not to scrape the leopard's paint on your way down. Yeah, Exo, I'll do my best. So poor Maya is having to fly us through this debris field here. In terms of the fluff, you wouldn't be able to drop a dropship through that because they're too big. So only small ships can get through without navigational aid, which The Directorate have got control of the spaceport, and they have the navigational aid and are trying to guide their own orbital like dropships onto the planet's surface. If we destroy that, though, they can't do that because the orbital dropships will get smashed to pieces by the orbital debris. So let's go ahead and load up our Lance. I'm not going to talk about any of the mechs today because if you watch the previous video, I did a pretty full breakdown of what they were all rocking and sporting. If you didn't watch that, the only thing to really note here is that I have got the Warhammer. So that's going to be a massive bonus at this point in the game. So first up, as always, Oculus gets Bay 1, and he has a new chariot, which is the Enforcer. 2 tanks next, so that's going to be the Warhammer and the Centurion. Today we'll bring, I think we'll put Dark Star in the Centurion, and I'll put Vortex in the Warhammer. The reason for that is because Vortex has slightly better guts, so he can deal with heat better, and the Warhammer runs relatively hot, because it's not too hot, but it's got the double impulses there, which are hot components that between them they do 40 points of heat. When I was looking at this loadout, I've probably got way too much heat management on there, because usually you put that much heat management on if you've got PPCs, and eventually I will run a more traditional Warhammer, but for now I'm more than happy with this big bad boy in his LB20X. Slightly wrong configuration. I realise there is a tactical error here, which I'll basically try to explain. Usually, if you bring 2 tanks into a mission, you want one tank to be like the mech that shaves all the armour off, and then you want the other tank to be able to finish a mech off. Now, that's how I'm working here. So the Warhammer has got the LB20, which is basically a shotgun variant of an autocannon. The Centurion then has got the UAC-10, which is like, well, it's a bit 2 big direct points of damage because it does 2 shots of 60 damage. But it doesn't work here because the Warhammer is a heavy mech and the Centurion is a medium mech, which means the Warhammer always goes second in that list because the medium mechs move first in the initiative phase. Now that's slightly problematic because ideally what you want is for the mech with the armor busting component, in this case the LB20, to go first, shave the armor off, and then the finisher mech to go in and deliver a death shot with its big AC cannon. I can't do that here though. It's always going to be the reverse. It's always going to be the Centurion that fires first and the Warhammer that fires second. I'm acutely aware of that, and frankly I don't care at this stage in the game because I'm very comfortable with the lance that I've got. Eventually though I'll rectify that, and eventually, when you start using like assault and heavy mechs, you will factor that in. So your assault mech will generally be the finisher mech, although assault mechs can carry so much weaponry they can usually do both roles. And then if you bring in like another assault mech, then it wouldn't matter because they'll both move in the same phase. But if you bring a heavy mech, then you'd use the heavy mech as the one with a big finisher, maybe a UAC-20, or PPCs, or regular PPCs, something like that. Then finally we've got our skirmish Griffin with the 2 impulses and the 10 short-range missiles, and we will bring code today in the Pegasus. So let's go ahead and deploy. This mission is quite easy if you follow a very, very basic strategy, which is to try and draw fire from I think it's 2 lances that come to get you, like later on in this mission. If you draw their fire, as opposed to allowing them to destroy the turrets that eventually come on our side, then this mission's really not very difficult because they leave the turrets alone, and the turrets will literally cut them to pieces while you are effectively like sat in like a wooded area, soaking up damage and doing damage yourself to them as well, obviously. So let's go ahead and begin mission here and see. I think we'll be given a bit more of a briefing before we start. So, Commander, I'm glad you made it. Navigating Panzyr's debris field unassisted is no small feat, even for a ship as small as a Leopard. Miss Meyer is to be commended on her skill. No sweat, Lady Arno, just don't ask me to do it again. You won't have to. Restoration strike teams have already joined forces with a 2nd Decimus Fusiliers to engage the enemy on multiple fronts. We have them at a disadvantage, but if they manage to bring in reinforcements, we're in trouble. Oculus. I need you to engage the enemy, locate the dropship control center and destroy it. Without ground support, their ships won't be able to navigate the debris field. The Directorate's troops on the surface will be cut off and our combined forces will sweep them away. I'm sorry to interrupt, Lady Rano, but we've just intercepted a transmission from the ADV Coronac. They're requesting navigational aid. It sounds like they're on their way down. So that's obviously a Directorate ship there. If that ship lands, our bid for this system fails. Oculus, I need you to take control, to take the control center out before the Coronac touches down. The second can help with that. We have a leopard full of engineers heading your way, Commander. I'll need you to clear us a path to the spaceport security headquarters, take out the vehicles and make us some breathing room, and we'll turn their turret defences against them. That's the plan then. We'll use the turrets to cover the approach. As soon as we have the turrets under control, the Directorate will begin firing on them. Use that as a distraction or engage the enemy to protect them. It's your call either way.
Good hunting, Commander. You bring down the control center and we'll handle the rest. Good luck.
So, all relatively simple here. First thing we've got to do is wreck these vehicles. So we should be going into the first turn proper now. Here we go. Commander, I'm seeing Directorate SRM carriers on radar. Recommend engaging them at a long range. They'll take you apart if you let them get close. SRMs are probably the most devastating unit in this game. However, they're very flimsy. So if you just cover over one here, you can see they've got 10 SRM6s, which I believe is exactly the same as Tabletop. I feel like I should know that because I own quite a few SRM6s. SRM carriers. But I think it is 60 on Tabletop. They are absolutely insane. It's always something I think you've got to double check. You're like, really? 60? And remember, each one of those does 8 points of damage, so that's horrendous. However, they're really badly armoured. So once you blow these things up, once you get a decent attack on these things, they don't last very long at all. So to that end, I am just going to target these. So there's one on screen. I don't know how many others are SRM carriers, but let's go down into the woods here and have a look what we can see today. Let's just take this one out first. Should be no problem for... Oh wow, he didn't kill it. That's crazy. I can't believe... He must have 1 point of armour left somewhere. Yeah, 12. 2! If you destroy any component on a vehicle, it will blow up. Which makes sense because it's a vehicle. So, it can't live without its tracks, for instance. Let's go here with the Centurion and see if there's another SRM carrier there. So what I'll do is I'll do a multi-strike here. And hopefully, the UAC-10 should be enough. I'm actually tempted to do... Oh, I can't actually. We're not in range with the laser. So let's just do that and see what we get.
Splitting target.
Oh, lovely stuff. There goes one. This will pop this, no problem. There we go. So hopefully that's the end of the SRMs because they are absolutely awful. Can't believe that the dual ERM lasers and an LB-10X didn't destroy an SRM carrier. That's so weird. Anyway, he got lucky, I suppose. Anyway, on with the fight. So we've got a Bulldog now. Yeah, I thought he'd survived that. The Griffin doesn't really have the right kind of weaponry for vehicles here.
Ready to get it on.
So he's got multi-strike. Vortex has got multi-strike, so we might be able to get 2 for 1. No, we can't, unfortunately. We're not in range with our S lasers. So let's just go ahead and hopefully pop this Bulldog. There he goes.
Reporting one left.
I really like how this game makes you wait for that millisecond before it blows up. It just makes you always on tender hooks. Have I got it? Have I got it? And then you either get it or you don't. Like with the SRM carrier before, I was just so convinced that was going to blow up, and it was just like, nope, all the arm's gone, but it's still here. It just gives you that little tease. It's very, very good. Right, so we've nearly done the first section of this particular mission, which is to destroy the vehicles here. In terms of the next point of this mission, which can get slightly interesting if you don't know what you're doing. You see, this is the space point here with the 2 big dropships. We have got, this is our target, so this is the dropship control center. You see we've got 13 rounds remaining to destroy that. Between us and it though, I believe there are 2 lances, so that's 8 mechs. Might not be, it might be 6 or 7, I can't remember, but I want to say 2 lances. And what we need to do is we basically need to run down this hill as soon as we blow the vehicles up, so that the opponent mechs target us and not the turrets. And we kind of want to get them in this kill zone area here. That's good. We want to like sucker them in. And you do that, like all good military commanders, you do that by manipulating your enemy to go where you want them to go. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to use probably Oculus to go down this left flank here, almost like get behind them because he's jump capable. So he'll go in this area and corral them along here, or at least, you know, draw some fire maybe. He can corral them as well, that's going to be his main job. They won't want to kind of come across an enforcer that's in the trees and has got LBX weaponry and 2 extended M lasers. They won't have anything to deal with that really. Then I'll use the Griffin to go the right hand side, so we'll take this elevated area here, and then we'll run down the centre with both tanks. And hopefully that will deliver a pretty easy win. I don't think it'll be too difficult anyway, so we'll just move out with Oculus in the first instance, getting ready for that jump. We'll destroy, maybe I don't think we'll destroy this striker actually. No, shave some of its armour off though. Again, it's a skirmisher mech, so it's not really made to destroy the vehicles. Let's just finish that bulldog off without the UAC. Try not to waste any ammo. Remember, a UAC cannon. Oh, well, that would be an ultra auto cannon that I've just said. A UAC weapon, if you remember, shoots twice. So we've got to monitor our ammo a little bit. That should be him dead. Yep, there he goes. So nicely done, Commander. Lieutenant Andres, your approach to the security HQ is clear. Roger that, Lady Rana. We'll have their turrets under friendly control in just a moment. Engage the forces guarding the control center, Oculus. Let's make these turrets count. So we should get the turrets on the next turn, I think. So they're not here yet, but they're basically turrets scattered throughout this landing zone here.
Standing by.
Now, big old Sigma, you can start the punch forward. So we'll just sprint you down. And here we are. So this is the message you want. Ignore the turrets and concentrate your fire on those battle mechs. We must protect the control center. If our reinforcements can't land, we're all dead. Now fight for the directorate. You don't have to do it that way. You can keep all your mechs back, but then you're up against the clock. So that would be significantly harder. So I do advise that you try to take it to the enemy as quickly as possible in this particular mission. Right, what have we got here? We've got a Centurion, we've got a Jenna, we have got a Trebuchet, we've got a Dragon, we've got a Hunchback, and we've got a Panther. Nice, quite a selection of mechs there. Yeah, so it's at 7, 3, 4, 5, 6 mechs it is. So we really have got the advantage here, because we've got all the turrets under our control as well. Now, I am going to jump with Oculus, if I can. Oh, he can't actually get down that hill, which is annoying. Bring him there, and we'll just shoot, I think, at the Centurion there. Just give him a bit of a LB-10X barrage. And that's moved him. So he's already worked. He's already kind of corralled him where he needs to go.
Ready for orders.
And we're going to run down here with both tanks. We have to be a little bit more conservative with the Centurion because it is only a 50-ton mech. It doesn't have that good at armour. The Warhammer, though, the Warhammer can do what the hell he wants because he is a Warhammer. Right, I think I'll sprint you in the first instance. Just get rid of that heat. And then on the next turn, the Griffin will start to outflank them on the right. Got a Hunchback here, but he's not shooting yet. Presumably that's because he's out of range with the AC-20. Yep.
Got something you want done?
Now, I'm not going to... I don't think I can fire here, but I wouldn't want to anyway. I'm going to sprint, try and draw as much fire as I can. I want to corral them, because they know now I'm going to take their centre. So they're going to have to do what they're doing, which is flood the centre ground, where I'll create a kill zone between the turrets, the skirmishing mechs, and my 2 tanks. It also, the defensive bonuses of getting into those trees are going to be beneficial as well. And the Trebuchet is already getting cut up by the turrets. Yeah, he's getting absolutely brutalised. Might lose an arm at this No, not yet. Not quite. But that's a good start. And now they're all going to focus on the Warhammer, which doesn't surprise me. Panther got a cheeky PPC shot in there, but we've got 4 levels of evasion chevrons up, so we should be okay. And he's very well armoured.
Systems holding.
Right, Oculus first, so let's... Ooh, we can get a shot on that trebuchet, can we? Ooh, that's nice.
Engaging jump jets.
Very good.
Engaging target.
Unfortunately, we just got the armour there, but that's fine. I just want to give him a little bit more, like, stability damage, and that Centurion is an L-laser Centurion, which you don't see very often. Yeah, so it gives up its AC-10 for a large laser.
Standing by.
Now, let's go and... Should we just go down nice and slowly, I think, with the Centurion? We'll just get a cheeky wee AC-20 shot, or AC-10 shot, sorry, which it was an AC-20, on this Centurion.
From position.
That's one hit. Should have a little bit more armour off. Trebuchet is going for an indirect fire attack there, which the Warhammer can take all day.
Minimal damage on that hit. Good to go.
Code next in the wonderful Griffin. And you see, he's the only negative about this particular variant of the Griffin is that his range really isn't very good. But he's there as a skirmisher, so that's fine. So we can hopefully give this annoying little Panther something to think about. We're going to generate a lot of heat here, though, but that's fine. And we've... Ooh, nice. We've destroyed the SRM ammo there, so he's only got his PPC left. Punchy's still not attacking. He's playing very conservatively.
Ready for orders.
And now we can, I think, start to take the war to them, really. So we'll get in position with the Warhammer, hopefully really cut this Centurion up. Yeah, we're into the structure there. Dragon should have an AC-5. Yep. But Dragon's not a great choice on this particular mission. Not to... You can use the Dragon as a melee, like Bruiser, but he's really not very good. Like having to go into close confines like that against something like a Warhammer. And the turrets should now finish off the trebuchet. Hopefully he's definitely on his last legs anyway. That means they've got no more indirect fire. Still in the game. Oh, there he goes. He's popped. So the turret's doing their job there. They've already taken one of the mechs out, which is nice. And the cheeky wee Panther with another PPC shot. The Warhammer might take some structure damage here because he's taken 2 PPC shots, which is the equivalent of an AC-20. And they're doing the right thing. They're actually focusing fire on that right-hand side, but we're going to get into the trees on the next turn, so that will give us a decent defensive bonus. Now, I might change tack, actually. I was going to bring Lucy around here, but they've corralled themselves, so there's no point in me doing that, so we may as well come in support of the other units. I think we'll take the Panther out if we can. I'm just slightly concerned about that PPC.
All weapons committed.
Yeah, and they're into the structure there, which kind of doesn't surprise me because of the PPC damage that we've been taking.
Bad cut. Ready for orders.
Another... Oh no, we won't do a precision strike. I thought we were... oh, that's a nice one actually. We'll try and make the day uncomfortable for this Centurion. We didn't get one structured damage point there, which was annoying. Ouch. Oh, gyro destroyed. That's unfortunate. I think we've got a few in storage though, so it's not the end of the world. Might have to pull him back though, but he is doing his job here, which is to basically take as much fire as possible for us. There goes the Panther.
That's a kill.
He's still in the game. He's taking pretty significant levels of damage here, but we'll just retreat him on the next turn. He'll be fine. He's a big boy. And that was that 3 multi-shots there by the Dragon?
Waiting for for
Ooh,
orders.
look at that. We've taken an absolute scolding there. But our left-hand side is completely untouched. So, what we'll do is do something a little bit cheeky here. Just gonna take this guy out, hopefully. That should be enough. Certainly gave him something to think about.
Critical hit.
So it's going to be very difficult for them to get any more right flak on the Warhammer there, because he's got his back turned to them. And now the turrets are shooting, so hopefully they'll do us a solid here and take out some arms. There we go. So the Centurion's in a lot of trouble here, and he's knocked down. So they've corralled themselves into the kill zone. They have played this well, though. I've got to give the AI credit. They've really kind of brought the war to us in the area we wanted to attack, and they've made my heavy mech retreat, which is probably the best that they could have hoped for in this particular mission. Warhammer is, yeah, he is taking a bit of a bruising here, but I'm confident he'll be alright. He's a big boy.
All weapons committed.
And there goes
Enemy
the
mech
Jenna.
destroyed.
And yeah, that was... They really should be focusing fire on the Warhammer there, but I suppose they are up against the full left-hand side of armour, so maybe understandable. And now I'm going to give... What I want to give them now, they have outmanoeuvred me to some extent here, because they're in the trees. But they've played it well. I can't take it away from the gamer who's played it well. What I'm going to do, though, because the Centurion has got pretty much full armour, I'm going to give them a tempting target. So I'm going to just, like, let him out in the open so that they don't target the Warhammer, and I'm going to focus fire on this hunchback. So that's given him something to think about. And exactly the same tactic here. In fact, he can just get in front of the Warhammer there to give him some cover. And we'll take off an impulse. We'll just keep focusing fire on this hunchback. So he can't run around now to do his thing. Dragon is focusing fire on Sigmar, but he's fine because it was just an LRM spam, so not the best option for him. Just my armor rates aren't too bad. They're not great, obviously, but they're not too bad. So I think again, I'm just going to stay behind this rock and just pile into this hunchback here. And there goes his left arm. Unfortunately, that is not his AC-20 arm. But he's knocked down, which means he now moves with the heavy mechs. So that hunchback is basically finished. Yeah, I think he's gonna... I don't think he'll survive this particular round. Ooh, the Dragon's taking rear shots there as well. So even though they did outmaneuver me to some extent, the price they paid for that was having to show the rear armour to the turrets there. So he's in a lot of trouble. Right arm destroyed. So that's his... I think that's his AC-5 arm.
Ready for orders.
And Oculus, can you finish this chap up for us? I think you should be able to.
All weapons
There he
committed.
goes.
Enemy mech destroyed.
Receiving you.
And now we have basically won, because we've now taken the... Well, we'd won anyway, pretty much, but, you know, I'm glad that we were able to get into the trees, because that gives us a defensive bonus. And the Dragon is now moving with the assault mech, so that means the Warhammer will move first, which is good. Going to do a cheeky physical attack here, because we're generating a lot of heat with Pegasus. But we hit on an armoured section. And now, can you... What's he got left? He's got an... it's probably not worth it. No, it's not worth it. Just put him back in the trees, let him sink his heat. Turret's turn, so the turrets will hopefully take out the torso. I wouldn't mind a dragon, actually. So if we can actually finish the other leg off, that would be useful. That would give us 3 points of salvage. Don't know if that'll be possible, though. But the dragon, generally, in BattleTech, is a really, really bad mech. It's got really weird weaponry. Very fast. But I think you can make a dragon work in this game. I've done it before, and where I'm at in the game currently is quite a useful mech to have. Though the turrets have finished it off me, so I can only get 1 point of salvage, but that's fine.
clock is ticking and that
So we've
dropship
actually
is getting
done the
close.
mission. We've
I'd
basically, there's
recommend that
nothing
you
now to stand
prioritize
between
targeting the
us
control
and
center, Commander.
the control centre. So Lady Rano's just giving us a prompt to hurry up. But all we have to do is walk over, because there is nothing in our way now.
Standing by. You got it. Going flat out.
So that went pretty well. Obviously, taken some structure damage. We lost the gyro as well, which is slightly annoying. But it was only like one of the very basic gyros. I think they only worth about 20,000 C-bills, so it doesn't matter. I'd have been annoyed if I'd have lost like heat banks or double heat sinks, but really don't care about gyros.
Got it.
I think the one we've got on there just gives us a little bit of extra bonus to melee attacks, or like for melee accuracy.
Roger.
And there goes the dropship centre. Well done, Commander. Miss Maya, are you inbound? Roger that, Lady Rano. I'm making an LZ on your screen. Commander, proceed to the designated coordinates for evac. Cool. That's it. All communication between Spaceport and Director's reinforcements fleet just went down. Ground control. This is the Coronac. We've lost you. Nav support is offline. Where are you? Where are your damn tugs? Okay, so they now can't land. So, bad day for the Directorate. Without ground support, the dropships, without ground support, their dropships won't be able to make planetform. They'll be torn to pieces if they try. Congratulations, Oculus. And we have you to thank for it. Long live House Decimus, and long live the Arano restoration. All targets eliminated. Sit tight, and I can collect you from where you are
Mission
right
successful.
now. Lovely stuff. So, at the end of these missions, obviously we get a nice payout. 1.728 million C-bills, which is lovely. Got the... I'm not sure if they were secondary missions, but we definitely got more payout. My aim is to do all the secondary missions, so if there were secondary missions, we've fulfilled them. In terms of damage first. So yeah, the Warhammer went out. If you watch my previous video, and I talked about how it is really important to have a mech that can, like, you know, like a heavy mech at this stage is really, really useful for you. There's no better example of the Warhammer in that, because the Warhammer was able to take pretty much like maybe 50% more damage than a medium mech would have been able to. So the medium mech, if I'd have run it that way, would have been absolutely cut to ribbons. Like, he would have lost arms, might have been destroyed. In this case, though, we walk away pretty much with a bit of a C-bill like repair job and a lost basic gyro worth 20,000 C-bills. So nobody cares. That's where all the focus was. I mean, look, barely any damage to any of the other mechs, which is interesting, and everyone got kills, which is always nice to see. Funnily enough, Sigmar only got one vehicle kill. So his role in that was basically just to get absolutely smashed by the opposition while everyone else did all the hard work. But hey-ho, such is the lot of a tank. Okay, so... Ooh, look, there's a trebuchet, and we've got 3 points of a trebuchet. So we've got a trebuchet. That's great, actually, because that will give me the opportunity to build an LRM platform now, which I've not been able to do thus far. Is there any weaponry here that I'd like? There's an SRM6 Plus, strangely enough. You don't usually see them very often at this point in the game, but they are useful. There's nothing else really. So I'll just take... I'll take the dragon, obviously. I would like a dragon, that would be nice. And we'll take the hunchback as well. I would like a hunchback at some point. We haven't seen any in the game thus far, so it's the first point of salvage. And what else did it give us? Just an array of weapons. That's fine. So I don't know if there is a mission debriefing here, possibly. If there is, I'll talk through it and then I'll end the episode. So this is Ringworld Frontier. Well done. Well, we've done it, Oculus. Thanks to your efforts, the Restoration Army has broken the Directorate's hold on Panzyr. Lord Pierre Louis Decimus has already pledged his house and his systems to my service. The Restoration is growing, just as we'd hoped it would. And with his support, you gain territory soldiers and a bolstered supply chain. Not a bad deal for you, Lady Rana. All for House Decimus. The Directorate took a scorched earth approach to Panzyr's farmland. Without our ongoing support, the people here would starve. I am not my uncle Darius. The Restoration gives as much as it takes. Well, yeah, that's commendable, Lady Rano, but it may not be sustainable. I'm fully aware that war has a price, Oculus, and I expect that price to escalate, but for now, I can afford to help these people, and so I will, and hell with the cost. It's a victory, to be sure, but we're still a long way from Coromedia, and Director Espinosa has only just begun to marshal his forces. Things are going to get a lot more difficult as we push forward towards Smithon. The Directorate's military capabilities appear to be way off line with our initial estimates. Somehow they've gained access to weapons and battle mechs that are totally foreign to the Aurigan Reach. Where do you think all this hardware is coming from? We don't know. House Espinosa had always had contacts in the inner sphere. Lady Victoria's personal battle mech is a prototype model that's almost impossible to find outside of the Draconis Combine, but this radical new military build-up is something else entirely. Wherever these weapons are coming from, it's a recent development and a troubling one. Now, the mech that he's referring to there is the catapult with the PPCs. K2, I think. I always want to say K4, but I think there's a C4 and then there's a K2. It's a horrible mech. It's a complete, like, butchery of the wonderful, beautiful catapult. Typical Draconis Combine. And that's the mech that Victoria actually pilots when we meet her for the first time. So, there you are. Bit of a fluff reference there. Hey, Lord Madeira, I'm sorry to interrupt, but there's something here that you may want to see. Actually, you may all want to see this. I found something strange on the Argos nav computer. Why don't I like the sound of that? Because your head is in the right place. I found something weird on the ancient ship, is what space to say in horror movies, usually right before everyone starts dying. Back me up on this, Darius. What was the one that you made me watch the other day with the drones that started eating people? Count Huritomo di Sorrentali's These Gears Are Teeth. It's a great film, but that's all it is. It's make-believe, Maya. Dr. Murad, would you please tell us what you actually found? Well, I appear to have stumbled onto an encrypted data archive. Somebody hid it away in the Argos secondary storage drive. That's just my best guess, mind you. Starleague era encryption software isn't really my area of expertise. My father spent years trying to figure out how to get the Argo back to Aurigan space in one piece. He was obsessed with his ship. He felt that it was important somehow. And now this. I want that archive open, Dr. Murad, and I need to know what's inside. With all due respect, Lady Rana, whatever's on the drive was sealed away for a reason. I've heard enough stories about lost tech treasure hunting to know that it's a bad idea, so why don't we leave well enough alone? Lost tech is technology from the Starleague era, and it's basically amazing. I've got a lot of lost tech. We've got LBX weaponry, pulse weaponry, UAC weaponry. It's all double heat sinks, all associated with Starleague. Because this archive could contain something of value, and because, as I previously mentioned, I have personal connection with this ship, I believe that this discovery is meant to lead us somewhere, and I intend to follow it. It's a Starleague era data archive. Of course we should try open it. Damn right we should. You don't just leave money on the table. Anyone could tell you that. Thankfully, we can follow this lead and pursue our campaign against the Directorate at the same time. The liberation of House Carassos on the Smithon is already the Restoration's next objective, and Lord Simon Carassos was Lord High Tamati's chief technologist. Securing the help we need, will cost us nothing, and we aren't already planning to pay. It's a bit convenient that as a storyline goes, I think. Perhaps this is all just a coincidence, Miss Meyer, but I cannot help seeing the hand of fate at work here. Yeah, I see the hand of lazy writing, but hey ho. Mastiff taught me to pay heed to my intuition, and that's what I intend to do. That's the plan then. After we liberate Smithon, we'll have an audience with Lord Carassos. Yes, Oculus, and shortly thereafter we will see if my father's intuition about the Argo was justified. As before, I will contact you when we're ready to move on Smithon. For now, I'll take my leave of you. I have nobles to placate and an army to rally, and you have your own contacts to pursue, I'm sure. Yes, we do, Lady Rana. We're keeping busy just as you asked us to. You all heard her. We've got some time before our next leg of the Restoration's offensive, and our client wants us to make the most of it. Time is money, so let's get back to work. Lady Rana's people secured the spaceports and found jackpot. Commander, decommissioned Griffins, lots of them. They'll never get them working with the repair facilities they've got, but between my team and the Argos mech base, I think we might. You can find them in the shop here on Panzyr. We've already got a Griffin. However, we don't already have a Trebuchet, but we do now. One of the lightest dedicated fire support mechs to be found, the Trebuchet 5M can mount enough missiles to give even heavy units pause. However, trench buckets are known for running hot and don't have much in the way of protection. Trench buckets is... I don't know where this... I have a feeling, this is my feeling, because it's all over the old books, right? If you kind of pick up any book from BattleTech in the 80s, it refers to them as trench buckets. And I just think it's like an in-joke by the writers, because it was an American audience they were writing for, and trebuchet is a French word. And the Americans very famously stripped out all the French from their language, so you don't get use in things like colour. You know, we keep them in England because we've still got kind of a Franco identity from the legacy of the Norman invasion, of all things. But the Americans don't. The Americans would probably look at trebuchet and go, tree bullshit. So I think somebody at some time has said to one of the writers, oh, what about that trench bucket? And that's stuck. So there you go. Let's have a look at our trench bucket anyway. Here he is. The most boring mech in the game, I think, in terms of looks. But you can see on its arms, it's got some like facility there to hold LRMs. Really, really nice mech for it as an LRM spammer. I think for a 50-ton mech, it's superb at doing it. You can get quite a lot of weaponry on there. You can also put the added energy components on there as well, if you so wish to do so. No support components though, which is fine because you're only going to be using this as an LRM platform, and no ballistics, which is fine as well because I want an LRM platform. It's a great example of how it's a mech designed to do its function. So it's stripped off all the nonsense that it doesn't need. So yeah, really like the trebuchet actually as like a 50-ton early on in the game. Anyway, I think I'll end that here. So I'll thank you very much for watching. I'll hopefully catch you again in the next episode.